What is up? Welcome into Driving the Nightline. My name is Alan Bell. We got a fantastic show for you today. Big Greg had to bring in the righty right here. Take down Big Friday in college baseball. Greg, I'm loving the backdrop. Look, if we had dudes out there smoking cigs, ripping heaters, shooting pool behind you, I'd be all in, man. How you doing, bro?
Well, it is Friday, so you never know who might stumble in behind us for an afternoon. It is only 12 o'clock here, so it is Friday, so it always counts. But yeah, good. Happy to be here. Glad we gave out a couple freebies yesterday during the chat, and I'm glad timing worked out. We're able to jump on for a big show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love it. Thank you for coming on. And yeah, first two people that go back there want a shot on me. I'm buying it. Let's go. All right, let's jump into it. Now, we have to talk about real quick. Last night, we got hooked on both of them. Lipscomb, Mississippi State ends at 11. Nikola Jokic ended at 28. We were hooked on both. Oh, my goodness, man. Absolutely brutal. So apologies to the crew. That's on me. We're going to fix that here. But, man, I was sitting there last night like, it ain't going to happen again. It happened again. Just brutal. All right. Enough of that, though. Let's go. Big dog, we got picks. All right, you let it rip first. What you got?
Yeah, we're going both West Coast related games here. We are jumping on University of San Diego money line. It has come down a little bit, but all that tells me is that we are leaning the right way here. Love the Toreros on this one at plus 114. And then we are fading my hometown locals, the Stanford Cardinal. I'm sure Alan enjoys seeing this after what they did to him earlier in the week. Wake Forest at the minus 2.5 line. ACC season has started. There's a tongue twister for you. And this is the real deal. Expect what is going to be the top lineup and the Friday night true starter for most of these teams now as we get into conference play.
Agreed. And yeah, and look, I am on Wake Forest. I've got them on the money line, but I've got Wake Forest on the money line paired with Miami of Ohio. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. And, of course, Stanford. Stanford always finds their way into the mix. I know, one way or the other. I know. Okay. All right, so a couple things. Alonzo, so good to see you. AB, man, Alonzo, it's so good to see you, buddy. I just hope I can be full show live. Hey, you know what? Let's go right here. Rich said, I got hooked on the Lipscomb over and Bam out of Bayou points and assists. Brother, right there with you. It was brutal last night with these hooks, man. Whale, good afternoon, crew. Too small. Thanks for great love. Whale, absolutely, brother. So here we go. All right. Now, Greg, I'm going to be honest. I'm being selfish. This first play is strictly personal, okay? If anybody doesn't want to get on board with Duke money line against Notre Dame, straight up, Duke's the underdog, I get it. I totally get it. Feel free to back away on this one. But I want it. I think Duke is good. I think Duke is ready to go against Notre Dame. Not a bad Notre Dame team. We're going to find out more. Duke's underdog for a reason, but I'm down with it. So, all right, I'm going Duke. We'll talk about all these games. Second, Wright State at Tennessee, over 11. The wind is blowing in Knoxville. It's 81 degrees. It's the same thing here in Nashville. Blowing out. Let's go. All right. Wright State's going to put up runs too, but I think Tennessee's going to do something tonight. So I'm going to take that over 11. We get it at a flat. And then finally, Georgia Tech money line, college baseball. Pair that with the Hornets money line against the Heat at home and the Suns money line against the Pelicans at home. So Georgia Tech taking on Virginia Tech, and we'll talk about them. Again, we don't like to go 3-leg parlays. However, I'm kind of digging them right now a little bit. The Hornets, yeah, Alonzo, the Hornets are fire. The Hornets are just absolutely on fire. Now, the minute we say that, of course, that's when the bad night comes, right? Knock on wood. But no, I want to put one together. So again, feel free to jump in on your risk tolerant level, right? In any of these plays. But let's jump into it. All right, so these are the picks that we have. Big Greg, let me get this on the screen. Let me get the banners. Boom. All right, picks at the bottom. Let's go. Now, let's jump into it here. So, first game up, UCLA at Ohio State. Greg, what are you seeing here? All right, we got the number one team in the country. As you mentioned, conference play starting, right? So we won't go through, like, feel free to give your thoughts on them, right? We went through the money lines and all that this morning, but feel free. You weren't here, obviously, so feel free to give your thoughts. And we got a total of 13. UCLA minus 1150. But the bigger point is this: is what I really want to ask you. We're getting to conference play in some of these tournaments. So I thought what you said about a true number one and it truly being a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We don't have tournaments now. Yeah, we're in a good spot. So I just threw a bunch of questions at you. But what do you kind of feel about UCLA and Ohio State, and then just conference tournaments that are getting started?
Well, yeah, I'm down on Ohio State. I have been for quite a while. So I think, the number to me is way too high with UCLA anywhere near that money line. However, I think if you're going to get the best effort overall, in my opinion, from a UCLA team, it's going to be the opening game coming in what's, obviously a weaker squad. I think there still is opportunity on that number. Now, especially as we talked about last time, having value with the 10-run line means a lot because you're getting graded out as a win instead of what used to be a push. So taking these teams at a bigger line means a lot. UCLA to me is still a play at -5.5 if I had to take them, and wouldn't be a shocker if they won in a pretty convincing fashion with Ohio State, probably not scoring too many runs.
Yeah, good point. And I did not mean to cough in between when you were talking. I thought it was on mute. That was my bad. I realized I get midway. I was like, I didn't mute. But no, I'm with you, man. 5.5 is a big number, obviously, but Friday nights, and it doesn't necessarily mean that UCLA is going to be, putting up 12 runs, which they could, obviously, but 8-1, 9-1, all those are into effect, into play. So, all right, Virginia, North Carolina, massive game here. All right, we're on North Carolina on the money line. Total of 10.5. What do you think? We going over or under here?
I mean, it's hard to stay under that number, but Virginia's been kind of all over the place. They get their brains bashed in the other day, and then have a decent win bouncing back. But it's been a strange Virginia team this year. I haven't really been able to get a true vibe on them. I agree with you. I like North Carolina on that number, just on the money line. Too much volatility between it. Otherwise, I can't trust it.
Yeah, North Carolina is good. Now, look, Virginia is too. That's the thing we talked about this morning. We bet Virginia all season long and have been comfortable doing it. But when we're sitting here straight up gambling, the North Carolina, I think, is the better spot. I think the better team. Friday night should be good. So, anyways, that total of 10.5, that could get blasted. Tarleton State, New Mexico, total of 16. I don't have anything on this, but the Southwest, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, that kind of breadbasket Southwest up area, there's a ton of wind. So you're going to see some crazy totals. Washington and Indiana, total of 12. I don't have anything here. Greg, feel free to stop me if you see any games. Notre Dame and Duke, here we go. Total of 11. Look, Notre Dame -180. All right. They're the favorite. They're supposed to win. I want Duke. I think Duke's ready to go. I think they've got something tonight. So I'm going to go here. I don't mind this over, but we bet Duke because of pitching a lot of times. So I don't know enough about Notre Dame. Charleston Southern, Georgia State, total of 12.5. I don't have anything there. Cal Baptist at BYU, total of 14.5. We saw a ton of runs on the launch pad up there. Wouldn't be surprised to see it again, but that total now has gone to 14.5. Cal Baptist -166 on the money line there. J-Dog, good to see you, buddy. How we doing, man? Yeah, hello, gents. J-Dog, so good to see you, bro. All right, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech. All right, so we have Georgia Tech money line, -520. Total of 13.5. You have anything on either of these totals?
Yeah, I'm on the over Cal Baptist game. We had Cal Baptist money line yesterday. We got them at +105, and then I think it closed at 140, 150. I think it actually closed at 170 now that I think about it. Back and forth. I mean, the ball's absolutely flying right now. You saw every kind of weather there, and it does not matter. The ball's crushing through snow. There's no issues. I expect a ton of runs again. 14.5, I think, is way too low. I would have probably set it 15.5 at least to open. So that to me has value. And then I agree with you. Two different classes here, and I think you're going to get a focused Georgia Tech team is coming into the games that matter. They've dilly-dallied. They know they're good. Sometimes you just you play with your food for a while. Sometimes I think that's kind of one of these teams right now. So I think this is getting a more motivated effort from them.
Yeah, Georgia Tech is on fire, man. They're averaging 14.5 runs per game right now. Alone, just them. They are on fire, man. Bibbo said, not sure how long I can watch, but I made it to the live show. Good afternoon, DTL. Good afternoon, Bibbo. So good to see you. Matty Boy said, round 2 of the Holy War. That's right, Cal Baptist and BYU. Holy War round 2. Point out any of those that we have. All right. Stanford and Wake Forest. We're both on Wake Forest here. Total of 12. That total scares me beyond. I don't want anything to do with that total, but we're both feeling Wake Forest. What do you see out of them?
Yeah, I just think a team that's a bit stronger overall. I'm not pleased with Stanford's offense. Too many easy outs lineup. I've been disappointed with the. I also do not like what Stanford has overall. The staff from a starting standpoint has shown me a little bit, but in that bullpens come in, it's just literally a coin flip on what we're going to get. Your first time you've traveled like this, they've been primarily at home the entire start of the season. Now you're going across the country, going to a pretty good home environment with Wake Forest as well. That does make a difference. The West Coast versus what we're getting in the Midwest, the South, everything else is a big difference, and that can't have an effect. I think it does a little bit tonight. I think Wake Forest handles business. Like I said, I like them at the -2.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. And yeah, I mean, that's a 3,500-mile trip from Stanford, California, right, to the middle of North Carolina. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on Wake Forest as well. I like that look at 2.5. Murray State, UCF, good baseball game here. I don't have a play on it, but 11.5 total. UCF -250. UCF, man, they might be one of those teams that we need to keep tabs on, because days where we have tough slates, they could come through for us. East Carolina, Coastal Carolina. Okay. -120, -110. It might as well be even. Coastal Carolina has been facing monsters left and right. Their non-conference schedule has been crazy strong. East Carolina, look at it, just more consistency. I like it, what I'm seeing from them. All right. Like it where we're going. Total of 10.5. Anything you see here?
I think the beginning half of that rotation starts to come back now for Coastal. So, it still will take some weeks for them to get fully back to active with what is a really good starting staff. Everything in me wants to fade East Carolina just because they're my nemesis and I can never get them right. However, the last time I took Coastal, they gave up like 15 runs. So all it tells me with this kind of game is I like the over. I think that both these teams end up just scoring. They both have good offenses that, yes, they can put the ball out of the yard. They just have a lot of guys that are really good gap-to-gap hitters. They have no problem taking long counts, and that builds up, gets you in the bullpen, especially when we get to game 3 of the, you start looking at the game 3s like we talk about with Sundays. It's a great option if, you're getting a long series. I would expect a lot of runs in this one.
Yeah. I would too. It's scary because both these teams can pitch, but I'm right there with Coastal. I swear they've been playing every day and been playing Texas. Like, dude. All right, UNC Wilmington and Jacksonville. All right, so Alonzo, by the way, great call on Cal Baptist yesterday. UNC Wilmington and Jacksonville. He likes the over 9. I'll be honest. Any game that you put on the board, if you give me a 9, an 8.5, I'm looking every time. Not meaning that I'm going to play it every time, but I think I'm with Alonzo here. Jacksonville can hit. I don't know, Greg, if you have any thoughts on Wilmington and Jacksonville here, but I'm with you on when I see a 9 flat, gets my attention.
Yeah, 9 is short. It always is, no matter what. You got metal bats. We got two teams that have very questionable bullpens. So 9 to me is very, very reasonable.
It's a 5-4 game. You know what I mean? Like
you could have one blow up inning, a couple errors, whatever it may be, a couple walks, and one swing with metal, and we're right there early. So
yeah. I'm right there with you. Whale said, I disagree with the over on Coastal ECU. That's the other thing, is that this has 2-1 written all over it, or 12-10. It really does. Ooh, it's scary. Big Bruce said, I'm late. What up, crew? What's up, big dog? Hey, you're right on time, brother. Good to see you. Okay, Boston College, Miami. All right. Miami. I love the spot Miami's in right now. They got absolutely destroyed by Florida, but it's okay. And I don't say that disrespectfully. I say it as, I think Miami's coming to handle business against Boston College all weekend long. That total of 10, here's the beautiful part about 10 and below. Run rules don't come into play now. 10-0, it's a push. Whatever, right? So you've got insurance built in on that. Now, I'm not saying that Boston College gets absolutely smoked, but it absolutely wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, Alonzo. He said Miami is coming back. They're looking for blood. I completely agree. So that over a 10, honestly, there could be a default on that, because now that you've taken out, or, whatever, however you want to describe it, you have insurance on a run rule. Yeah, you're all right, man. Tizzle. I don't know if you talked about it, but took Cincy and UC San Diego over 10.5. Nice. We didn't. I think that's starting right. Is that? I think it's starting now, right?
Yeah, I think it did already.
Nice. All right, 10.5. Beautiful, man. All right, we're gonna keep track on that. All right, Tulane and TCU, total 11. I don't have anything here. Should be a great game. Indiana State, Western Kentucky, total of 10. I don't mind that 10. I don't mind that at all. Maryland and Troy, total of 12. Long Beach State, UC Santa Barbara, total of 9.5. I cannot touch it because UC Santa Barbara can pitch their tails off, man. However, that's a low total, but I wish we could play Santa Barbara on the money line, but we can't. USC Upstate in Texas, total 11. Yeah. Louisiana Lafayette, Dallas Baptist, total of 13. You're gonna see totals in the Midwest shooting up. You've got a lot of wind. New Orleans, Rio Grande Valley, total 11. Louisiana Tech, South Alabama, total of 10. Fresno State, Arizona, 10.5. Dude, I can't bet it. I absolutely have to handcuff myself. But God, if Arizona can just get it together, they're so set to have a weekend where we can make a lot of money straight up on Arizona, but we just need them. Oh, my goodness. What do you think here? I mean, we can't trust Arizona, can we?
I cannot. Every time, I've dabbled with Arizona. They just continue to let me down. I also watched Fresno State last weekend here. They can swing it, which shows me, that offense is pretty solid. It also told me that Stanford's pitching staff is not that great. So, going against what is not an elite offense in Fresno State gave me a little bit of information on both those teams going back into different conferences, which was helpful. But, I don't have faith. Let's just say I'm not putting my money on it.
No, that's the thing. Exactly that right there is that. Yeah, I can't tell anybody, hey, this is a good. No, it's not smart.
I'd love to try to suggest it for you, but I can't do it.
Yeah, can't do it. Alonzo said, I told you can't trust Zona right now. Yep. Marshall, Reed Shepard over 2.5 threes and Jokic over 1.5 threes is plus 175. Reed at home and over 4 in 7 straight. Nice. Jokic shot 1 of 13 from deep in his first matchup versus the Knicks. Beautiful. Justin said, Mama, I made it. Days haven't felt right. Missing my favorite daily show. What up, AB? Greg, crew? Justin, man. Same deal, bro. How we doing, man? So good to see you. Ooh, okay. Yeah, can't trust Arizona in this one right now. Grand Canyon, Utah. I don't want to trust any of these teams in this game. UNLV, Minnesota, total 11. That over is going to go up. It's going to go to 11.5. I don't know what you're going to get from UNLV, but look out, man. You can see runs here. Minnesota can hit. Loyola Marymount, Arizona State, total of 12. I don't hate that. Xavier, Oregon State, total of 9. 9, but I get it. It's Oregon State. You have anything on any of these games right here?
Yeah, I took Grand Canyon last night at plus 165. And then I gave it out at plus 130 this morning for clients. So I do think Utah's a fade to me. Grand Canyon's shown that they can score runs against pretty good teams. They've had a pretty good, like to me too, a big thing really quick is a lot of this isn't at all to me records right now. Yes, you want to win, but it's who you played with some of these programs. And Grand Canyon played a pretty solid preseason on the West Coast here and in a couple tournaments. And that will do them big dividends when it comes to going back to conference play and getting to go against what I think is, very even line teams that I think gives them the competitive edge going against such good talent. So I think Grand Canyon at the plus number is still really good to me. The other game that I do like, I took Oregon State in a money line parlay, numbers high, but this is a team that can win 2-0. This is a team that can win 11-1. I don't have the faith in them covering numbers, so I took them this point with the money line parlay. And then real quick on the other one, yeah, UNLV is an auto over team right now. I forget, I cannot remember if they're playing in the Vikings stadium or if they're playing in a different dome, but UNLV is just a team that gives up runs and can score runs. So 11.5 kind of seems like a gift right now.
Yeah, and Minnesota's the same way. I say it is Minnesota's a fun baseball team, man. We watched that against Kansas. That over is going to go. It's already moving in that direction. All right, we talked about these: LMU, Arizona State, Xavier, Oregon State, Illinois, USC. No way I could bet the over. Tizzle came through with it. Viking Stadium. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Good call. All right. Illinois, USC. Great game here. Honestly, I cannot bet the total. USC has the number 1 team ERA in the country, and rightfully so. Them boys are pitching their tails off right now. USC minus 298 in the money line, though. Don't hate that. CSUN, Irvine, total of 10.5. Cannot bet an over on an Irvine. Don't mind playing the under on that. San Diego, California. You're on San Diego, man. Plus 114. What do you see out of San Diego today?
I think it's a good spot more than anything. Cal's been up and down. I have not liked what I've seen from their offense, especially as of late. Their competition hasn't been that strong. And, I've watched them in person twice. They just don't have that feel of a team that is a consistently competitive ball club. San Diego, on the other hand, I like what they did in the preseason. I like what they did at a conference. They were up and down, but I feel like they're a much more grittier team. They remind me a bit of a smaller Irvine. They have no problem playing small ball. They do not mind playing station to station, and they're a team that really prides themselves on pitching. So a team to me that can drive a squad like Cal crazy. A squad that does not mind winning that low-scoring game as well. I think Cal needs to score a bunch of runs to win. I think San Diego's a team, the complete alternate, where I think they have no problem being in a low-scoring pitching duel.
Makes sense. Look at this next one. Cal Poly in Hawaii, a total of 8. 5-3 gets you a push. 6-2. All right, we're on Hawaii money line. I'm a little frightened on this total. I don't know why. But you see an 8 get thrown out there and you're saying, what is this, the MLB All-Star game? Are they just rolling out 9 number 1s just every inning? It come get you 102 miles an hour. Ooh. All right, so we're on Hawaii here. Any thoughts on this total? On an 8, we're getting close to I don't care who it is.
So I guess I could toot my horn for a minute. We gave out 10.5 this morning to clients, under 10.5.
Nice.
So it is drastically moved, obviously.
That's a massive drop. 10.5 to 8.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday when we gave out 11.5 for that Michigan game, it moved to 13 and then even higher. And that hit in the 3rd inning. And you notice again, Pepperdine's off the board. They will not let them out. So
no,
that is it. That is the team I always am looking for each day if Pepperdine's there, because they are probably the worst team in baseball, I think, right now. But yeah, the under 10.5, I like. 8 is terrifying. This might be actually, which is a rare one. There's a middle opportunity in a baseball game for us. So
Titzel just said the same thing. Yeah,
it's a thought, but middle in college baseball is even scarier.
Oh God, yeah, that's the scariest thing I've ever heard.
However, if you can get a good number, it's worth
I'm with you. It's baseball. It's 8.
Yeah. 10 seems a lot more realistic. 7-3, 6-4. You can give up one, crooked inning and it's okay. But 8 is scary. I mean, look at the Japan game last night. They scored 10 in one inning. Things get wild. I also think there's a skew because Cal Poly is coming from, right here. They're not traveling another time zone. I think there's a little bit
like Vanderbilt, a
little bit of exactly. A little bit of a difference. I also think that, I lean Cal Poly on the number, but Hawaii game 1 at home always is tough. They've proven that with that starting staff. They've also got great bullpen work. They've got one of the lower ERAs in the country right now. They've done a really nice job. So is that going to continue? Is that a fluke or is that who they really are? So Cal Poly, I wish was a little bit higher of a number, but I do think every game in this series is going to be real competitive.
Yeah. And let me say this, and I put this out to any person working in a sports book that threw an 8 out there. It takes guts to throw an 8 at the board and say, let's see where your money comes. That is risky. I say that out of full respect. Like that is tough. Yeah.
What that says is that how much juice is getting fired on that under, because I wouldn't have put an 8. Like, as someone who's been asked to make lines a few times for certain places,
I'll never give you an 8. I'm never giving you an 8.
Oh, you know what? I'll give you an 8 when it was.
I'll give you 8.5.
Yeah, exactly. 8. Yeah, and even then, it's got to be an old Rosenblatt, and the wind's got to be blowing in.
Old Rosenblatt, you're right. The field is 490 feet, and it's blowing in hard.
They pushed the Polo Grounds out, so it was just a regular-sized stadium, but 490 the whole way around, and tons of foul ground.
just insane. Like, thanks. Hitting wasn't hard enough.
Yeah.
All right, NBA here. We'll go through real quick. Mavs of the Celtics. Celtics 14.5-point favorites. I don't have anything on that. Heat and the Hornets. All right, so we're on this. We got Georgia Tech, the Hornets, and the Suns. Hornets 7.5-point favorites at home against the Heat. Let's go, baby. No full need breakdown. No full breakdown needed. We just need the Hornets to just keep being them. And boys are looking great. Trailblazers and the Rockets. Rockets, what happened to you last night? We lost in overtime to the Warriors. Come on now. Shout out to the Warriors as a good win on the road. Rockets are 5.5-point favorites. You're on a back-to-back, a game they lost. Trailblazers are 14-18 on the road. Not terrible. Trick shot, Tim. Pepperdine is 2-10. Lost 17-4 at home to Michigan yesterday. How can they not get solid players to go to Malibu? They were 12-42 last year. Yeah, Greg, go ahead. Yeah.
I've thought about this quite a lot. I actually had a full discussion with my dad, of all people, about this.
Great question. Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah.
We could do a whole show on this topic because I have a lot of things. So I'll keep it to 1 second. Well, not 1 second, but yes, I completely agree with you. The problem being California schools, and primarily West Coast, has never had to deal with things like the NIL. I just talked to someone at school today, at the kids' school, who works with the UC system in the financial department. And he was telling me, I can't disclose too much, but the exact thing I'm saying, they don't know how to spend money on this. They don't know where they're going to get this money. They don't know how to transfer and turn this thing into NIL money. This is all brand new stuff, especially to the West Coast, where sports don't mean nearly the same thing, where we do have a lot of, pro sports teams here, especially in California, but there's just money that's been put all over the place versus a lot of the rest of the country where people are born, bred, raised, live, have pride for where they are there, and there's a lot difference to especially college sports. And there's, so many other factors to it, but the tax thing being one, as we know about what Mississippi just did with their NIL situation. That's a big one. You're losing 50% of everything. But I just think there's going to take quite a long time for the West Coast to be able to figure this out if they decide to. However, Pepperdine should be the number one spot. Your field's on the water. You're in Malibu. The campus is incredible. It's a really good education. Hopefully Stanford does the same thing.
Yeah, like it is Pepperdine's the most beautiful place like on earth. It really is. I'm with you. That's a great question. All right. Knicks and the Nuggets. Knicks 1.5 point favorites. Great game here. Nuggets played last night, beat the Lakers. What are we thinking? Big Kirk. What up, AB? A crew getting in late. Kirk, good to see you, buddy. Hey, here we go. Yep, moved to 9.5 at -130. Dude, Kirk, you are crushing on these Julian bets, bro. Absolutely smoking it, man. Jared, good afternoon. AB, Greg, and crew. Jared, my boy. What is good, dog? Good to see you, brother. Hope you are doing great. Okay. Knicks 1.5. Pelicans and Suns. So we have the Suns here, money line. They're 5.5 point favorites. Total of 226.5. All right. Pelicans are 9-23 on the road. Suns, let's just not fall apart. Okay. We don't have to do anything special. We don't have to do anything crazy. No shot at the Pelicans here. But come on, baby. Come on now, Suns. Come on. Clippers and the Spurs. Spurs 6.5 point favorites. Total of 223.5. This is going to be a great basketball game. Loving the Clippers. 30-31. They're almost there. They've almost made it to 500. And I give them credit, man. They've been fighting. It has not been the most enjoyable season of all time, but they're fighting. They're 14-18 on the road. Spurs, look out here. Pacers, Lakers. Lakers lost last night. Lakers 9.5 point favorites. Total 235.5. Luka is going to shoot a ton, except here's the concern. The playing the Pacers and the Kings and the Wizards, like I worry about if it's a blowout and you're pulling stars in the fourth quarter. Not that, they're going to pull them the entire time, and not that that's even something we have to concern ourselves with, but we have to think about it. And 5 minutes of Luka going on the bench can crush props. So I'm not saying don't play him. I'm all in on Luka, but you can't have the Lakers winning by 2. If they're up by 22 at the end of the third quarter, Luka's going to sit down. You know what I mean? So be careful with that. All right, that's what we have. All right, Greg, let me get the picks back up on the screen, the graphic, and we'll jump out of here. Man, I sure do appreciate you jumping on again, brother.
Happy to do it anytime. Love you guys.
Dude, back at you, man. All right, let it rip. What you got?
All right. We are sticking to the West Coast. Like I said today, San Diego money line. Make sure you get it right. The Toreros, University of San Diego. And then we are fading Stanford. We are taking the Wake Forest Deacons at -2.5 runs.
Beautiful. All right. Now, perfect update from Tim right here. AB and Greg, Duke's top player, Cider Cannon, is out with injury, hitting .452 with 6 homers. That is why they're +140 at home versus Notre Dame. I still like the value of Duke. Tim, great update right there. Anybody, anytime, if you have anything injury-wise, weather, like anything like that, oh, absolutely, please drop that in. I'm with you. And, expecting and hoping that Duke pitching is what leads it. Now, we're going to have to get runs for sure. We're going to have to do it. But we got to keep Notre Dame below 5. Do not want to get in a 9-8 game, even though Duke could do it. But yeah. All right, so Duke money line, Wright State and Tennessee, over 11, -115. And then Georgia Tech money line, Hornets money line NBA, Suns money line NBA, +140. Kirk, great point here, too. A lot of good teams on back-to-backs tonight. Be careful, crew. Yes, they are. A lot of same teams that we were betting on last night, running it back again. All right, we'll jump out of here, crew. Excellent work, Greg. Great job, man. Again, next time that we go live, I want everybody back there shooting pool, taking shots. Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. Greg, it's so good to see you, man. Thank you again for jumping on. Crew, let's crush it. All right. It's going to be a great Friday, a great start to the weekend. We'll be live tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, normal time. J-Dog said all good stuff. Love it. Absolutely. All right. We'll be attacking it tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, normal time. But until then, best of luck. Let's catch these tickets, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
Who's got it better than us? No!